Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Wasim Ahmed and I'm teaching you physics for grade 9. It is lecture number 1 for 6th week of second term. So let's start with today's discussion, that is unit number 3, titled as Dynamics. As you already know, mechanics is one of the branches of physics. What is mechanics? It is the study of motion of objects, its causes and effects. Mechanics is further subdivided into two parts, kinematics and dynamics. If you recall, since we had started with unit number 2, we kept on talking about kinematics. What is kinematics? Kinematics is the study of motion of an object without discussing the cause of motion. So here we only focus on the behavior or characteristics of a moving body. For example, if a car is moving, it covers some distance or displacement in a specified time. It has certain velocity or speed, and if speed or velocity is changed, we say that an acceleration is produced. So these sort of things were the topic when we were talking about kinematics. Now we are coming to our actual topic, which we keep on talking since now. That is the cause of motion. So scientific name for the cause of motion is force. It means that in the following discussions we would be talking about the forces which actually cause the motion. So let's move on. So here is the dynamics. It is unit number 3. Dynamics is a branch of mechanics, deals with the study of motion of an object and the cause of its motion. So here we would be dealing with both the motion as well as the cause that produces the motion. So let's move on. As I just told you that the scientific name of cause of motion is force. So in fact we start today's discussion with defining and explaining the force. Force. We can open a door either by pushing or pulling it. Figure 3.1 here shows a man pushing a cart. The push may move the cart or change the direction of its motion or may stop the moving cart. A batsman in figure 3.2 here is changing the direction of a moving ball by pushing it with his bat. So we have seen a different demonstration of a force, and we want to technically define what is force. So by these chunks of informations, pushing or pulling, here change the direction of its motion or stop a moving cart, and here changing the direction of a moving ball. So these are different chunks that actually establish the definition for the force. A force may not always cause a body to move. Look at the picture shown in figure 3.3 here. A boy is pushing a wall and is thus trying to move it. Again, a goalkeeper needs a force to stop a ball coming to him, as shown in figure 3.4 here. Now after considering all these illustrations and examples, we are able to formally define the force. So definition is here. A force moves or tends to move, stops or tends to stop the motion of a body. The force can also change the direction of motion of a body. So again, a force moves or tends to move our body. Stops or tends to stop our body. It can also change the direction of motion of a body. So this is the full-fledged definition for the force. So dear students, let's make the concept of force more concrete by considering daily life examples. Examples from daily life. Here you see that a query is what happens when you press a balloon. So you might have observed a lot of time this, when you press a balloon, actually you exert a force. And what is the result of that exerting force? A balloon is squeezed, means its volume is decreased. Again, another common example, you can cut an apple with a knife by pushing its sharp edge into the apple. Thus, a force can also change the shape or size of a body on which it acts. So, dear students, up till now we have established the concept of force is basically as the definition of the dynamics is concerned, force force is basically a cause that causes the motion, and we have formally defined it as a force moves or tends to move, stops or tends to stop the motion of a body. The force can also change the direction of motion of a body. A force can also change the shape or size of a body on which it acts. So this is the whole picture, big picture of a force. So let's move on. Dear students, after discussing and establishing the concept of force, now it's turn to discuss inertia. What is it? Inertia of a body, its property due to which it resists any change in its state of rest or motion. These are some historical notes. Galileo observed that it is easy to move or to stop a light objects than heavier ones. Heavier objects are difficult to move, or if moving, then difficult to stop. Students, as you know, Galileo and Newton are the pioneers in the field of physics, or these are the founding fathers in classical physics. So Newton concluded that every body resists to the change in its state of rest or of uniform motion in a straight line. He called this property of matter as inertia. This term was coined by the Newton and included in the field of physics by Newton. He related the inertia of a body with its mass. Greater is the mass of a body, greater is its inertia. Here you see that Newton was the guy who actually discovered the very property of inertia and the cause of inertia. And inertia is directly related with the mass of an object. If a mass is greater, the property of a body to resist any change in its state of rest or motion is greater. If mass is less, then inertia is less. So inertia is depending upon mass. So heavier bodies are having more inertia than lighter bodies. Dear students, let's elaborate the concept of inertia by using simple daily life activities. Take a glass and cover it with a piece of cardboard as you see in figure 3.5. Place a coin on the cardboard as shown in figure. Now flick the card horizontally with a jerk of your finger. Here you are seeing that a person is going to flick the card with his or her finger. So the queries are, does the coin move with the cardboard? What do you think, dear students? Can you guess what happens when this person flicks the card with the finger? The coin does not move with the cardboard due to inertia. And if it's so, then where does the coin go as the cardboard flies away? Can you answer, dear students? Here you see there's a glass and a cardboard along with the coin is placed on the glass. And this person is going to flick this card with his or her finger. So it is due to inertia of the coin that with sudden jerk of finger this card slides away and the coin owing to inertia would fall in this empty glass. So this is very simple demonstration of inertia. So let's move on considering another example. This is another activity. You might have or must have familiar with this activity, or you might have done it yourself. So considering another example of inertia, cut a strip of paper, place it on the table, stack a few coins at its one end as shown in figure 3.6. Here you are noticing that this stack of coins are placed on a paper. Pull out the paper strip under the coins with a jerk. What do you notice, dear students? Do you succeed in pulling out the paper strip under the stacked coins without letting them to fall? Next, why do the coins remain stacked on pulling out the paper strip quickly under the stack? Can you answer these queries, dear students? It says that coins stacked over remains undisturbed on pulling the paper strip quickly. So here again it's due to inertia. When this person is pulling this paper with a jerk, then it is the inertia of these stacked coins that puts them on the place, and with removal of this paper these remains undisturbed. So again this is very simple example, or you can see a simple activity which demonstrates the concept of inertia. Dear students, before moving on, let's recap regarding force and inertia. So initially we talked about the force, and can you recall the definition of force? A force moves or tends to move, stops or tends to stop the motion of a body. The force can also change the direction of motion of a body. And then we talked about inertia. What was that? Can you recall? So inertia is formally defined as it is a property of a body due to which it resists any change in its state of rest or motion. So these two concepts we have established by utilizing simple daily life examples. So hopefully you get them and you understand them. So let's move on to the last part of today's discussion, that is momentum. Dear students, have you ever heard the term momentum, or you speak this word by yourself? So let's establish the concept of momentum, and let's see what is it. Momentum of a body is the quantity of motion it possesses due to its mass and velocity. Here you are noticing that momentum is a physical quantity which is based onto another physical quantities, mass and velocity. You can also say that the momentum which is represented by P, our body is given by the product of its mass and velocity. Here, mass and velocity. So we have defined momentum with respect to its formula. Here is the mathematical form of the momentum. So momentum P equal the product of multiplication of mass and velocity. So in vector form, you can say that it can be written as P with an arrow over it equal M and V. Here you are noticing that we are dealing with momentum which is a vector because an arrow is put over it. M is the scalar and V is also the vector. So again, you are keep on these points in your mind, what is meant by scalar quantity and vector quantity. So this is the complete mathematical description of momentum. Momentum is a vector quantity. Its SI unit is kilogram meter per second or Newton second. Dear students, here you are having an equivalence. So can we establish that kilogram meter per second, which is the SI unit of momentum, and it is equal to Newton second. So this is your assignment to establish how these are equal. So try to do this by yourself. Dear students, let's establish the concept of momentum more concrete by considering these examples. A bullet has a very small inertia due to its small mass. As you know, we just talked about in previous slides that inertia is depending upon mass. But why does its impact is so strong when it is fired from the gun? Can you answer, dear students? Although a bullet is very light in mass, its mass is very small, but its impact is so strong. Due to what? Can you guess? Due to momentum. Because although it has very small mass, but its speed is very high. And as you know that momentum is the product of mass and velocity. So this huge velocity makes the impact of this bullet so strong. The velocity is the cause, huge velocity is making the impact of this bullet so strong. So momentum is the answer. Momentum, actually bullet has huge momentum. Another query is, on the other hand, the impact of loaded truck on a body coming its way is very large even if the truck is moving slowly. Can you guess, students? Here you see that loaded truck is moving with small velocity, moving slowly, but it has huge impact. Its impact is huge. Due to what? Can you guess? Again, as you know, momentum, we have defined momentum as the product of mass and velocity. So although the speed or velocity of a moving loaded truck is very small, but its mass is huge. So this makes the momentum very high. Dear students, let's summarize what we talked about in today's discussion. We focused on three parameters, three factors, or you can say three terminologies: force, inertia, and momentum. So we have not only formally defined them, but also try to establish them by using daily life examples. So Let me again tell you how to define them. Force, a force move or tends to move, stops or tends to stop the motion of a body. The force can also change the direction of motion of a body. Then we talked about inertia. What is that? Inertia of a body is its property due to which it resists any change in its state of rest or motion. And finally, we talked about momentum. Can you recall what is momentum? Momentum of a body is the quantity of motion it possesses due to its mass and velocity. So dear students, this is all about today's discussion. So hopefully you understand the whatever we discussed in today's lecture, and next time we would be having a lecture number 2, and it's 6th week of second term is going on. And see you next time. Take care. Okay, goodbye.